Yes, sir.
Good. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Village board meeting, which is normally at 6 o'clock. We're getting a little bit 15-minute late start on this. Sue Paganhoff, do you mind getting Sue Paganhoff is going to receive one of our proclamations today. And I was wondering if Sue would be happy to stand up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. All right. Sue?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sue. All right, Katie, we'll get this meeting rolling quickly, and I'm sure that you have noted all the trustees, department heads, and special guests present for the meeting. Item number 3, minutes. I look for an approval, a motion and a second for the October 2nd, 2023 village board meeting. File the 6/12/2023 Community Development Authority, the September 5th, 2023 Finance Committee, the September 11th, 2023 Board of Public Works, September 12th, 2023 Public Safety Committee meetings as presented. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on these minutes?
Could I just let you know that I'll abstain from that because I was absent.
Oh, okay, very good. Lisa, thank you for noting us abstention on this. So we have motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? That motion carries. Oh, Katie, do we have anybody wishing to be heard at this meeting that you know? Okay. No one? All righty, very good. Thank you very much. We will go to business presented as the president. Sue, if you could stand up and come up here. Make sure I have the right one here. All right. I'd like to do a proclamation in recognition of Sue Paganhoff. So who is Sue Paganhoff? Well, Sue Paganhoff works for Roundy's at Pick and Save. I'm sorry, for Kroger at Pick and Save. Mm-hmm. And Sue has done a wonderful job of being able to round up for the charities. And she's not done this once, she's done this twice. Did it once for family sharing, and the last time she did it for St. Ben's meal. She's the leader in this district for getting people to give a little bit more to help a lot more people. Whereas Sue Paganhoff is hereby recognized for her significant contributions to the Grafton community, and whereas the Kroger Company has implemented the Roundup program where shoppers may donate their change for purchases to provide grants through the Kroger Company Zero Hunger and Zero Waste Foundation programs, which are aimed at helping to end hunger in Wisconsin and across the country. And whereas Sue Paganhoff has been recognized as Roundy's Wisconsin Zero Hero winner for the first quarter of 2023, and I think also the fourth quarter of 2022, right? Okay. All right. Whereas between January 29th and May 20th of 2023, Sue Paganhoff's commitment to asking shoppers to round up purchase generated over $1,370 in donation, which is equivalent to 5,483 meals. And whereas Sue Paganhoff was also recognized for efforts in 2022, resulting in $2,000 being donated to our own family sharing in Bozaki County. Whereas throughout her career, Sue has been recognized multiple other times for her fundraising efforts, not only by the Chief Executive Officer and Division President of Kroger, but also by local store management. And now, therefore, I, Daniel DeLore, President of the Village of Grafton and State of Wisconsin, do hereby proclaim October 16, 2023, the Day of Recognition for Sue Paganhoff. Sue. And she's also my neighbor, which is really nice. Thank you very much for coming.
Groceries.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, the next one, we'd like to do a proclamation here for Linda Dean. Linda, come on down. You're the next contestant. Oh, no. So Linda's done a wonderful job doing her work at the village, at Village Public Works. You know, what happened this summer to Amber, Linda really stepped up and did so many nice things. We like to recognize her not only for that, but Linda Dean is hereby recognized for her noteworthy professional efforts on behalf of the Village of Grafton and its Department of Public Works. Whereas during the unprecedented time in the department, Linda took it upon herself to not only address the customary day-to-day duties, but also carry out multiple special projects going above and beyond what was required. And whereas Linda Dean organized and championed the community-wide plastic bag donation effort, resulting in the village of Grafton receiving a decorative park bench made of recycled plastic. And whereas through Linda's efforts, several retail partners within the village have become plastic bag donation sites. And whereas Linda oversaw the finalization of the bidding and approval of our new waste recycling service contract on behalf of the village of Grafton, resulting in improved service and savings to the community. And whereas in her only second budget year, Linda assembled and prepared a majority of the data needed to be present, needed to present the 2024 Department of Public Works budget proposal. And whereas Linda is an exemplary example of diligence and customer service, whose representation of the village of Grafton in the Department of Public Works is without question. Now therefore, I, Daniel Delora, resident of the village of Grafton in the state of Wisconsin, hereby proclaim October 16, 2023, the day of recognition for Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, we had the Public Works crew stealthily bring that over and stage it for this evening. So appreciate all the help from Public Works.
All right, let's go to number 6, the public hearing. Can we have a statement of purpose on this? Okay. No, okay,
I can go ahead and.
okay, Jeff, you can do that.
Sure, no problem. The purpose of the public hearing is to review and comment on a proposed amendment to the Village of Grafton sanitary sewer service area.
All right,
President Delora, Joel Deedle from SewerPack is present to say a few words.
very good, Joel. If you
Good
wouldn't mind
evening.
stepping up to the microphone so we can all hear you. We're noted for great acoustics here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. My name is Joel Deedle. I'm the Chief Land Use Planner in the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission. We're the agency that prepares these sewer service area amendments on behalf of the DNR. I'll keep the background and history really short and then touch on a few highlights of the particular amendment. But if you have any questions at any time, just let me know. And then I'll stay for the village board deliberations afterwards in case you also have questions then. So again, it's our agency that prepares these sewer service area amendments on behalf of the DNR. The details come from an administrative code NR 121 that sets forth the big picture, what's required in this process. Keeping it really short, those requirements come from the Federal Clean Water Act, which is even more broad, vague, and general than the administrative code. So that's where these rules and requirements come from. We've been doing this as an agency on behalf of the DNR since the early 1980s. The village has been through this process once or twice before. It's not uncommon that as communities grow, they have another sewer service area amendment. These guidelines that are in the administrative code talk about identifying a growth area for the next 20 years. And that has to be not only consistent with the village's facilities plan for the sewage treatment plant, which is also in this administrative code. Our commission has added to that a requirement that it be consistent with the village's comprehensive plan. So that's big picture where this comes from. If there was no questions on that part, then I'll hit some of the details of this particular amendment. So then for this amendment, it's adding 28 acres to the sewer service area. Essentially, it's south of Falls Road, north of River Bend Road. It's a portion of a larger property. A part of that property is already inside the sewer service area. There was a sewer extension request at about the same time as this. We did find a way to allow that first phase to be recommended for approval. I should take a step back and mention that. Our agency, Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, can only recommend and advise. We don't have regulatory authority, even on something like this that we've been doing for 40 years. The DNR has the final say. So both the sewer extension, they have the final say, and the sewer service area amendment, the DNR has the final say. But by this administrative code, they can't make a final decision until they have our recommendation. So for this particular amendment, it's again, the last piece of this larger parcel to be added to the sewer service area to allow the future phases of this development to proceed. It's proposed to be a multifamily development. It's about, if I put my glasses on, I'll be able to read it for sure, but it's like 406, a population of 406 people is envisioned, 181 dwelling units. That's important for us because those are the criteria that we look at, both for consistency with our regional plans and consistency with the village's own facility plan. Those population numbers, those housing units are well within the capacity of the sewage treatment plant to handle, and it's well within our population range that we envision for all these communities in our regional plans. And so that's the information that we provide to the DNR. It's also important to note that there are some environmental corridors within this area. Our regional planning commission identifies primary environmental corridors, secondary environmental corridors, and what is specifically on this property, isolated natural resource areas. There's about 6 acres of environmentally significant lands, 4 acres of this isolated natural resource area, and about 2 acres of other small wetlands that are on this property. That's another factor that we have to point out to the DNR that's also in this administrative code, is not specifically the environmental corridors, but these environmentally sensitive areas. And related to that is the purpose of that is to identify those lands which, if developed, could potentially have an adverse water quality impact. That's almost a straight quote from the administrative code. That's why we have to identify these areas. It's also important to our agency. It's one of our primary recommendations for our regional plans are to protect these areas. In this particular instance, that remaining portion of the isolated natural resource area is going to be protected. There are some small wetlands on the site that some of them may be impacted, but some will be preserved. And the isolated natural resource area, there are some upland portions of it which will be impacted, but our advisory rules, our recommendations do allow that final decision on the upland portions to be a decision of the local unit of government. So all of that is consistent with our regional plans. That'll probably be our recommendation to the DNR. The reason I say probably is past practice for our agency is staff doesn't make the recommendation. Our full commission does at the very end of the process, which will be in December. So we will make a verbal presentation to our advisory committee, which is planning and research, in November. At that point, staff is asked for a recommendation and we'll provide one then. At this point, I see no problem or issue with this amendment, but we can't make that final, I can't make that final decision until we see what happens at the public hearing and then what the village board wishes to do. And the other thing I should mention that's is equally important as this recommendation from Sewer PAC, the administrative code also says that the local unit of government or the operator of the sewage treatment plant also have to be in support of these amendments. And that's where the village board comes. The last thing I would mention is that these reports also do include a section on housing. We understand and recognize that that has nothing directly to do with these sewer service area amendments. However, it was a topic that was of particular importance to our commission a number of years ago. 6 or 8 years ago, I think, is when we started adding this section. We specifically note in this report and all these amendments that this is only for informational purposes for the local communities to consider if they want to delve deeper into this topic, not as part of a sewer service area amendment, because like I said before, it has nothing to do with that administrative code. This is something extra that our commission had discovered and identified that they wanted included in these plans. In particular for the village, we have identified a jobs housing balance as part of one of our regional plans for all the communities in the 7 county region. For the village of Grafton, it's the moderate cost jobs, housing balance, that's an imbalance. We're looking at, are there enough homes for those people in that kind of job bracket? And we've identified, but this report was probably completed, that regional housing plan was probably completed 2010, so it's already getting old. So that's just informational purposes. If it is something that's of interest to the village, you can always contact me or our Deputy Director, Ben McKay. He was the lead author on that regional plan. And then it's probably more pertinent to comprehensive plans and the housing affordability plans that state law requires everybody to do. That's it for my summary, unless there's any questions. The last thing I would say is just what the steps are. As I mentioned, we have this public hearing tonight. It's to gather public input. I would mention, I suppose, that if there are concerns and questions pertaining to sanitary sewer service, then we probably would recommend that you take that under advisement and maybe make no decision tonight. We also understand, though, that sometimes there's questions about development from the standpoint of truck traffic or impact on the school district. If those are the issues or questions, that has nothing to do with the sanitary sewer service area amendment, and then the village board could decide to move forward at this time and not have to take that under consideration. Then the village board would hopefully take action. We would forward that information to that planning and advisory committee or committee of ours for their recommendation to the full commission. And then that planning and research meeting is in November. That recommendation goes to our full commission in December. They make the final decision. We finalize the report, send it to the DNR, and they'll have the final decision. We were just talking about that a minute ago. Their goal has always been to turn these things around in 3 months. The person that has been doing this retired earlier this year. They replaced that person with 2 part-time people. So we have 2 amendments already waiting for their review, and it's been about 3 months. So it might be a little bit longer. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public comment on this. Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment on this? Anyone at all? Okay, any comment here amongst the village board? No comment at this point in time. So I believe we will close the public hearing at this time. Public hearing is closed. We'll take a look at the resolution. And the recommendation from the staff at this point in time is a motion to adopt the amendment of the regional water quality management plan, Village of Grafton, as presented. As this is a resolution, I will need an offer, a motion, and a second.
So I'll offer.
I'll second.
How about a motion? Offer, motion.
I'll second.
Offer, motion, and a second. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Very good. Thank you very much. All right, go to the report of finance here. Approval of the creation of a full-time fire captain position and placement in pay grade number 17.
Position to be created within the fire department for assistance with administrative capacities, coming forward with a unanimous recommendation from the finance committee.
All right. We'll need a motion and a second on this to create approve and create full-time fire captain and place it pay grade number 17.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
A motion and second. Any discussion on this, Lisa?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I missed this last meeting 2 weeks ago at finance, but I just wanted to say, with being a captain position, I am concerned that the pay grade is a tad low. I think that, I know that someone being considered is already an employee and, you know, the pay is close. I would ask that, I mean, this new position comes with, I think, administrative responsibilities, things like that. And as I understand, still, he would, you know, this person would be going out on calls and things. I guess this is gonna, it's been to finance already, so I guess that, you know, I'm a little bit late to the party. Going forward, I would like, you know, that salary really to be considered to be put in a higher pay grade, in a higher quartile. of that pay grade due to experience.
They can be hired at any part of the pay grade.
Right,
Yep.
and
That would be-
I'm personally asking, you know, again, this is just me. I know the person's been an employee here. I know that, again, the pay grade 17 is, to me, is not that high. I'm hoping that when it comes time that the decision's made, that, it can be in the upper quartile, because I do think it should have been an 18.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
would
just-
be, the decision to hire would be, lies with the chief and the police and fire
Sure.
commission. So,
Yeah, and is this person, Bill, is this person a full paramedic yet?
In all honesty, I think it would be inappropriate to talk about who it may or may not be. at this
I'm sorry, Bill.
I think maybe it'd be inappropriate right now for me to speak, but
That's
no,
fine.
no decision's been made.
That's fine.
But we are considering people who are paramedic.
Very good. I think a little bit different if we're looking at a person who hasn't met the paramedic skill yet versus somebody who has a paramedic. I think we give them consideration with that, and I'm sure you will, Bill, because you're the hiring guy.
We'll have a situation where our firefighters are paid this at this level, let's say, and the new level is barely above it. So I think Administrator Tice recognizes what he's talking about, and we're gonna need to use a higher, if not the highest, quartile.
Okay, thank you. So we'll be looking, we have a motion and a second question here. Any further question? All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. Report of the Board of Public Works.
we have an item coming out. The first item out of Board of Public Works is a, professional services contract with, Strand and Associates. This is, for the 9th and 11th Avenue lift station upgrades and design. This is in response to the development and build out of the Stonewall Farms, residential subdivision. Frankly, we need to upgrade our infrastructure in order to make sure all of their stuff gets to our plant. And vice versa. So that said, a contract amount not to exceed $150,000 is brought forward with a recommendation to approve.
And I'm gonna take each one of these motions separately because there's such a large dollar amount associated with them. So, we'll need a motion, to recommend the village board approve the contract with Strand Associates Milwaukee for a contract amount not to exceed $150,000.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Motion and second, any discussion? I see you guys spent a lot of time discussing these at Public Works. Well, we trust you, so all in favor say aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Second, motion to, recommend the village board authorize purchase of 2 primary sludge pumps for an amount not to exceed $77,874.
I make the motion.
A second.
All right, motion has second. Any discussion about our desire to discuss the intricacies of sludge pumps? No, I didn't think so. So, as we move, pull ourselves out of the sludge, we will say all in favor, say aye. Aye. Very good. Motion to recommend the village board approve an additional $3,278.75 to Green Bay Pipe and TV out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, for providing additional sanitary sewer mainline heavy cleaning services to the total contract amount not to exceed $31,886.93.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on why we're doing this? If you read your minutes, you'd know. Very good. All right. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Very good. All right. Motion to recommend village board authorize the purchase of a 2024 5 cubic yard dump truck chassis from Crete Truck Center of Milwaukee for an amount not to exceed $131,611.28. And this is for next budget year, correct?
If I may, just a point of clarification, this is very similar to pre-ordering the police vehicles and the fire department vehicles. We just need to get in line, so hopefully we can get these in 2024. We understand and recognize the fact that we are pre-committing funds. This pre-committed purchase is built into the executive budget that was presented earlier this evening.
And a point of correction here, I saw that we were looking on the budget for a 10-yard next year, or is this a 5-yard? It's a 5-yard, so
5-yard.
it's something we may want to check in the budget, Jesse.
Yep.
I think it said 10
It
yard.
did say 10 yards.
It did,
No
yeah,
problem.
So, yeah, so we're looking for 5-yard. Motion is second.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Jim,
And what happens, Jesse, if by chance we don't get it next year? Where does that $130,000 go?
Stays in capital equipment. That's where the allocation is made in the budget and it would stay
Put
there.
back in there.
Yep, it stays right in capital equipment. Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay, any other questions? Motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to recommend village board approve 10, 15, 17th Avenue property owners request for reimbursement for driveway apron replacement for the village in the amount not to exceed $5,066.40. This is something we've done in the past, and I understand we're gonna be looking at a policy coming up here shortly. Motion and a second.
Motion, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Motion to recommend that the village board to adopt the driveway apron reimbursement policy dated October 9th, 2023, contingent on the removal of the last sentence of the first paragraph of the policy. I need a motion.
Actually, I would update that to say, dated October 16th, because a revised version was placed on the dais this evening, with follow-up discussions occurring after the Board of Public Works. Legal did take time to review and provide some additional language. Director Thomas confirmed that that additional language would be appropriate. I will defer to either Attorney Herbrand or Director Thomas to delve into the details, if you will, but the updated drafts are on the dais this evening.
Yeah, if I may just
Sir, go ahead.
leave it to your village attorney, to worry about, that the work gets done, so the revised language in front of you. Just includes a requirement that no payment is made until the landowner replaces the apron. And it's the intent of the DPW and your engineer that the work be done in the same construction season, so the new policy allows the engineer to make a decision not to reimburse the work by the landowner doesn't get done in the same construction.
All right, to satisfy everything we kind of discussed at Public Works. You have a quizzical look on your face.
Yeah, I got home and I thought about something, Amber, that I think we didn't cover. What if a homeowner wants to switch at that point from asphalt to concrete?
They can do that.
So, but if they weren't switching, we would replace their apron with asphalt. And
We replace their apron with whatever material was there first.
correct,
If there is a sidewalk, like we have in most places of the village, that apron is always concrete. If there's not a sidewalk, then if someone has an asphalt driveway, that asphalt does usually go all the way to the curb and gutter.
right. So if they decide at that point in time, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to switch to concrete driveway, and there's no sidewalk, there's nothing. Would the village reimburse them for concrete? We would just reimburse for the asphalt, which is what they have.
So we're reimbursing exactly what we bid out to our contractor. So we would pay them for our cost to put it back in asphalt. And if they chose to pay concrete prices, that would be on them.
Okay, does that need to be added here, or?
I think that should.
That is in there.
Just to be clear, because I think there was somebody recently who changed.
Thank you. Just a quick, I made a mistake here. I should have done a motion in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which is okay, but if in fact we want to make additional changes to this, I think this would need to go back to Public Works.
So at the will of the board, the policy does say that the owner will be reimbursed for the village's cost savings incurred by removing the work.
Yeah, it says these costs will be determined by the public bid costs provided by the contractor awarded the project and by the measurements taken by engineering staff for said properties to determine the specific driveway cost. So it's fully determined by our project, not by what the homeowner does.
And if they have asphalt, then in there, that's what's gonna be bid.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have to have that.
That's good. Are we in agreement with that? Okay, motion in a second, please.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Do a motion in a second. Any further discussion on this? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Finally, motion to recommend village board approve a contract with Ramesh Kapoor and Associates, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for survey and design of storm sewer, sanitary sewer, water, and roadway for a contract amount not to exceed $61,600. Any update on this, Amber? Pretty much straightforward.
You're ready to go tomorrow, hopefully.
Ready to go. This is for next year, correct?
Yes,
So-
for next year's projects.
Next year's project. So if in fact we come back with an additional dollar amount here, this is gonna need to be
It will
renegotiated.
be, we have to add some cost to it, yes.
Okay, All right, motion second on this?
I'll make a motion.
You have a
I'll
motion and a second.
Take your pick.
Any further discussion on this? Before I lose my voice, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Alrighty. As we continue to move along here, let's go to the report of the safety committee. Approve the purchase of 2 digital speed signs and additional 2 years of remote cloud access for a total cost of $8,594, which is currently unbudgeted. Jesse?
Yes, this is an unbudgeted expenditure. However, we do have contingency funds available to us to address this very significant public feedback issue. Falls Road has been a cause of concern for residents living along that stretch of road with regards to speeding vehicles. That said, the police department has upticked their enforcement within the area, but also we want to take some additional steps with signage, crosswalks, and in particular, 2 digital speed signs to be installed at a total cost of $8,594. The unique aspect of these is if this works out and Falls Road calms down, if you will, we could actually move these signs. They're portable, which is a great feature. But that said, in the meantime, the priority is addressing Falls Road, and it's a great tool as we have one out on the county road, which helps identify speed issues. And this here in this particular area with Falls Road, with the topography and the straight stretch, tends to be a bit of an issue, but this is a step that staff believes is worth taking, even though it is unbudgeted.
All right, I'll look for a motion in a second on this.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion on this at all?
I would just like to say that it's good to hear that.
Go ahead,
Oops,
go ahead.
we can do the approval first.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
We did a motion in a second, so go ahead.
I just want to say, I'm glad, it's good to hear that these are gonna be portable, because should, like, as the case was mentioned, that if it does calm down, there are other roads in the village that these can be used, and I think that's a great positive for this purchase.
Semi-permanent. Clerk.
Yeah, thank you, Chief Caponera, for considering the residents' requests on this and coming up with this solution. Could you clarify where exactly on Falls Road you intend to place the 2 signs? Will one be west, one be east, and on what side of 17?
So we haven't exactly determined the location yet. When we get the approval, what will happen is I'll meet with Director of Public Works, Amber, and we will sit down and identify the best location for that. It's likely going to be in that area somewhere between Cheyenne and 17th, likely around that area where the crosswalk is at the hills. That's where we're seeing our biggest issue. So, but again, we don't know exactly where we're going to put them. It's going to determine visibility and the best location that we can identify for that. So without that, I wish I could have a better answer for you. I just don't.
Sure, thanks for the clarification.
I also want to thank Chief and Jesse on this, because I think a couple of years ago at Public Works, we were kind of talking about what we could do for Falls Road, and coming forward with a solution on that really makes a difference to those folks. Certainly speed is an issue out there. Speed's an issue everywhere, but I think being proactive and telling people how fast they're going is a good thing, because that'll lead to us to have better, hopefully better speed practices. Lisa, sorry, out of my left eye.
So we have seen a lot of improvement on Highway B for how many years that has been there. So I think it's a great idea. Is it solar?
Yes, ma'am. These are solar.
Great,
Yeah, also.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Okay, anybody else? Well, that's great. All right, we're good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Jesse, let's go to Department and Officers report.
Absolutely. Speaking of Falls Road, just off of Falls Road on Orchard, there was a water main break discovered on Friday by the police department, who immediately reported it to the utility, as it was a significant break. The utility reported on site and worked into the night to repair the break despite the weather and restore services that same evening. Just a great example of teamwork where frankly, the patrol officer took the initiative to, yep, I think that's a bad enough break, to call the utility, and make them aware. Utility reported, absolutely, this is a bad enough break, and they mobilized that evening. Now, some water main breaks are minor enough where I guess we'll let it bubble a little bit and then come back on Monday. But this was significant enough that they reported that night, all call, and got the work done. So great teamwork all the way around on that. Public Works, leaf pickup is slowly starting. They're hanging onto the trees pretty good yet, but that will ramp up here as we get into further into autumn. Road line painting is finishing up as weather cooperates, and then they'll switch over to winterization efforts. Happy to report 2 new police officers started today. The department remains down from their full roster, but we do have 2 new employees on and entering their field training, and away they will go. So that is a great step forward for the police department. A new teen librarian will start later this week. This helps round out the library staff roster. That position had been open, I believe, since Memorial Day, as I recall, Director Klopman's report earlier today. Also at the library, self-checkouts will be going live next week, Monday. So that's a pretty big technological improvement over at the library. So that's pretty exciting. Next week, Monday, those will go live. And then on the dais this evening, I placed a copy of a note of thanks and recognition for the police department's work in establishing a sensory room. This comes from newly minted State Representative Melitik from the town of Grafton. A copy was provided for the board's review, but kudos to the police department for striking that partnership and making that project happen. That is my report for this evening.
Very good.
Mr. President, Jesse Chief, there's a meet and greet tomorrow morning, correct?
I believe there is a meet and greet tomorrow morning.
8:30 tomorrow.
For the new officer.
Yes.
There's one tomorrow and one.
Monday, I believe is the second one on Monday, next week, or
Yeah, we have 2 scheduled. Yeah.
And I did mine. I did mine early, so
Yeah.
they're great.
Trustee Harbeck did hers, and
Yeah.
President Gore and Sarah did hers.
Yeah, they're really.
Okay. Still got some work to do here. All right, let's move on to approval of licenses. Operators permits. I think that's pretty much straightforward. I need a motion in a second to approve operators license.
move to approve. I'll second it.
Motion in second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, move on to report of bills. Didn't see any back and forth today.
Nope, no questions received.
Question? Anybody have any further questions on that? I'm sure after reading 267 pages, we're all ready to ask more questions. Alrighty, motion and second to approve the village expenditures at $353,685.20.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. I'd like to convene into closed session for state Wisconsin statute 19.851E for real estate competitive bargaining matters pending sale of 887 North Greenway Road. Start on this side.
Yes.
Yes. Motion in a second.
Motion?
Yep, motion. Let's go. Motion. Yeah, motion. Second. Aye.
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 Aye. All right, we're gonna adjourn here for full session. Thank you all.